Pellegrino and welcome along to episode 15 of Holy Cow, here with me at the Indian national football team. So we're in the SAFF Asian Federation Championships once again, and we've made it through to the semi-final stage. We're going to bring you the semi-final today and hopefully the final if we can make our way through to it. We're up against Afghanistan today, who are a team that on paper we ought to be able to beat, but as we've seen often in this save with India, it's not always as simple as that. Since we were together last, we've played a bunch of games, so you saw us fail to qualify for the World Cup with the game against the two Koreas. Since then, we lost to New Zealand in a friendly, then beat Northern Mariana 4-0. We played Curacao, got beat 2-1, but beat Burkina Faso 1-0, which was a very good result. We played 3 friendlies in the run-up to this tournament. So we played against Panama, drew 1 each, beat Oman 2-0, and then beat today's opponents, Afghanistan 2-1. Not the most convincing performance, but we didn't really have the first team out, so hopefully today we can do a little bit better. We then moved into the group stage of the South Asian Championship. We came up against Bhutan first, beat them 3-1, comfortable enough. Then we played Nepal 4-1, and we played Sri Lanka in the last game and beat them 6-1. So he's been doing pretty well, and Sri Lanka actually wait in the final for the winner of today's game. So that'll certainly give us some confidence going into that game if we can get past Afghanistan. Let's go see how we're set up for today's game. As you may remember from previous editions of this tournament, the games really do come very thick and fast. The group stage games are 3 games played over 5 days, so fitness becomes a real issue in the squad. So we have got a few players starting today with pretty poor conditioning. Hossain, who's our captain now, at centre half, is only on 83%. There's a couple of others below 90. Johnny Pereira up front is on 82, but the only other striker we've got played in the previous game, Chowdhury, is on 89. So, maybe if we're doing okay at half time, we'll swap them round. Let's get into the game and see how we do. So we have been rotating the team quite a lot in this tournament. There's just no recovery time, so you're just patching things up and seeing if you can get a team out, really. Of course, the other teams are up against the same sort of things. You can see the conditioning here of the Afghanistan team is no better than ours, for sure. We've made a fairly good start to the game. We are ahead in the possession. We've had 5 attempts, although none on target yet, which is a little bit concerning. Midway through the first half, we have a throw in here. Rajat Singh crosses in. Oh, and headed just over. Half an hour gone now. 10 shots and only 1 on target. So there's something not quite right there. I know Johnny Pereira has only got finishing of 5 or 6 up front, so I'm sure that is part of the problem, but that can't entirely be the problem. So they've not mustered a shot yet, so we're dominating the game, and surely the opportunity has to come at some point. But we are going to agree. We're going to tell them it's disappointing and send them straight back out for the second half without changing anything just yet. We'll give it to about the hour mark and then think about making a change. Rajat Singh right across the field to Susaraj on the right hand side. Is that a penalty? It is. And who's taking this for us now? Hossain, our centre half, scores. The keeper will probably be a little bit disappointed he didn't do better with that, because it was pretty much straight at him and he didn't dive out the way. So he could have done better there, but I don't care. I'll take that all day long. And so I think we are going to make a change now. We're going to take Pereira off. We talked about this earlier on, and we're going to bring Chowdhury on. Like for like. Very similar kind of players, but Chowdhury's just not as good. An hour gone now, still 1 up. It's not convincing. Good ball in from Singh, and what's been given here? A red card for Hossain. What was that for? Well, I didn't see that. Okay, so we need to think about what we're going to do here. I think Jermanpreet Singh is going to have to come off. We'll put Chowdhury there. Do we have a centre half on the bench? Not really. Bose can play there though, so he'll come in. And we'll go a little bit more balanced. Still don't know what that red card was for. No replay on it, so we have a free kick here. Singh to take. And it's a goal. Gurjinder Singh. Again, the keeper doesn't exactly cover himself in glory, but if we're down to 10 men and we double our lead, I'm more than happy with that. And so just over 10 minutes to go, and this is looking comfortable now. I think it's time to make another change. And Gurjinder Singh is looking tired. Maybe we'll bring on Karunian for him. Chance here for Afghanistan. Offside. It was a good effort, but unfortunately for them, just stood in an offside position. Yeah, he was a good couple of yards off. And so we're going into the last knockings of the game. I can't see Afghanistan getting back into this now. And there it is. In spite of the sending off, we make our way into the final. As I mentioned before our semi-final, Sri Lanka had already won through to the final, so they'll be our opponents for this final game. We've had to make a couple of changes, again conditioning being the main reason for that. But it's a fairly strong side. I'm not too disappointed. I wish Johnny Pereira had a bit more condition. Again, we'll be looking at maybe bringing Chowdhury on for him at some point. But yeah, I think Gurjinder Singh I would like to be starting, but I think Karunian is a more than able replacement. Let's see how we do. And so it doesn't exactly look like it's brought the crowds into this stadium in Bangladesh, but it's the final between India and Sri Lanka. A fairly cagey start to the game, but we have a highlight here. Oh, very close to taking the lead there inside 10 minutes. Is this going to be a counter-attack though? No, it just fizzles out. Okay. We've restricted them so far to no shots, but we've not really created a whole bunch ourselves, so we might need to look at changing something at some point. Simple enough, that through ball for our keeper to gather up. We win the second ball from the long kick. Not a lot of quality on show so far. Karunian cuts inside his man though, has a go, just wide. That's the best effort we've seen so far, I think. Still 0-0. This is a team we beat 6-1 in the group stages, remember, so I think it's time to demand a bit more. Coming up to half time, still goalless. Oh, there's a highlight here. Starts with Sri Lanka on the ball. Is this going to be an opportunity for them just before the break? It is. Oh, goodness me, that flew just wide. What a hit. So that's their first effort on goal in the whole half. And very, very nearly gave them the lead. So I think we need to get in and aggressively tell them that I'm far from pleased from that. And we'll get out for the second half and hopefully we'll look a little bit more convincing. Another opportunity here for Sri Lanka though, and a good save by Singh in goal. Long kick. Is this an opportunity for us now? It is, and a good save by their keeper. Germanpreet Singh with the corner here. Kolako heads it over the bar. It's certainly getting some opportunities. You'd think one of them would stick, but we've got a free kick right on the edge of the box here. Hits the wall, but we score with the follow-up. Johnny Pereira. I was just about thinking of taking him off because he's tired. Germanpreet Singh hits a free kick that hits the wall, rebounds straight to Pereira, who clinically finishes with his left foot. What a great goal. And another highlight here, Pereira here picks up the ball again, Rajat Singh. Oh my goodness me, the bend on that. That's very unfortunate. And so I think approaching the 70-minute mark, we are going to bring Pereira off. He's done his job, he scored a goal, but he's absolutely wrecked. Chowdhury will come on. Anyone else that we should change? I mean, Hussain is tired, but he's the captain. I don't really want to take him off. We'll leave it at that for now. Oh, Jermanpreet Singh injured. So Babu can come on for him, a more than able replacement. Just a few minutes to go. 1-0 is not a scoreline that I'm very happy with, though. Gives them an opportunity. We have the ball out here wide with Susairaj. Rajat Singh back to Mia at full-back. Susairaj again gets a cross in. And that's the game wrapped up, surely. Karunian, a good header. Ball from Mia down the wing there to Susairaj. Takes a touch. Gets his cross in. Karunian with all the time in the world. Sends the ball back where it came from. Right into the bottom corner. Chowdhury here. Oh, good save. I'm glad that keeper's not in my team because he's got a very long, complicated name to pronounce by the looks of it. Chance here for Sri Lanka, but nothing comes of it. And we're going into the last minute. Rahman here with a chance to cross it in. Karunian again with a header. Unfortunately not quite so accurate this time, but we're into stoppage time. And there we are. That's what we always like to see. This is the third time in a row that we have won this title. We are the South Asian Federation champions 3 times in a row. A well-deserved lap of honour to nobody in the stands. Well, having won that tournament 3 times in a row, and coming towards the end of the FM20 cycle now, FM21 is almost upon us, this seems like an appropriate place for me to end my journey with India. It's been a really good experience playing with this team. I enjoy the international football saves. I know it's not for everybody, but yeah, getting to work with some of these players, Chetri, the legend at the start of the save, and bringing through a lot of the youngsters into the team. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The reason that I'm going to call it a day now, I think, is in terms of the schedule. There's a bunch of Asian Cup qualifiers next year, but no tournaments. And the Asian Cup actually isn't until 2027, so it's another 2 years to play through, and there just isn't time before FM21 is here, unfortunately. One thing that, again, if it had been in a real life scenario, I've been offered interviews by the likes of Blackburn and Aberdeen and a couple of other championship sides that I probably would have gone for, and I just turned down the interviews. So I think realistically now, it would be kind of time to move on to bigger and better things. So we have now holidayed on 2 years since I resigned from the Indian job. Let's go and have a little look at how they've been getting on in my absence. So, let's get into India. There they are. So their manager is a local now, Santosh Kashyap. Don't know him. Managed in a lot of teams around the Indian leagues. Captain is still Hossain. Kolako, the other centre half, is vice captain now, and Jermanpreet Singh is the key player. That's good. Up to 42 caps, 19 goals. So he must have moved up to be playing as a striker, I would guess, to be getting those kind of numbers. World ranking 103rd, so that's not too dissimilar from where we were. How have they been getting on as a team? So if we go back to where we left them, which was that Sri Lanka game you've just seen, the Asian Cup qualifiers came up. Oh, and they failed to qualify. Okay. So Philippines and Tajikistan beat them. And that's really disappointing. We got into the Asian Nations Cup last time by virtue of getting into the final stages of the World Cup qualification. Of course, we failed to do that this time round, but whoever this guy is who's taken over from me has failed to get them through the other route of getting into that tournament. So that really can't be very helpful to the world rankings. Some disappointing results in here. 0-0 with Afghanistan, for example. Oh, and they've had another SAFF Championship, so beat Bhutan, drew with Nepal, beat Bangladesh, squeaked past Afghanistan in the semi-final and beat Sri Lanka 2-0 in the final. So not quite as convincing as we've been previously, but makes it 4 in a row of that tournament, which is good. And that's the end of that. So, if you look at the squad, oh, there's not very many people in it currently. Maybe there's a under 20 or something, under 23 squad going on. Yeah, so a few people have moved into here, I guess. Yeah, I can see here like Kalako and Rahman are in here. Biplu Hussain. So all of these guys are still playing in India. No one playing outside of there by the looks of it. How about in the senior squad that's here? Can't see that unless we actually go through it player by player. Gurjinder Singh, yeah, he's still there. Samad, yeah. So it looks like nobody's moved outside of the country in the club. Interesting. There's a few players here which aren't showing up in those squads. So, how about Amrinder Singh, who was my goalkeeper in that last tournament? He's playing for Kolkata now, 33 years old. Probably a bit past it, I guess. Hossain, who was my... Oh, we've just seen him, haven't we? He was my captain. But he wasn't showing up in the squad there for some reason, but he's still playing locally too. 49 caps at the age of 22. That's not bad, is it? Rajat Singh we haven't seen, so let's take a look for him. Again, still playing in India. 45 caps for him at the age of 21. So he'll be up in the 100 mark by his mid-20s, I'm sure. So it's good to see that a lot of the youngsters that we brought through are still making an impact. Although clearly the team isn't doing quite as well as we'd hoped them to. Anyway, that concludes this series with India. Holy Cow is done and dusted. It's been a lot of fun actually. This was the first series I actually put any video on the channel. Which is kind of funny to go and look back at. It's, yeah, even compared to this fairly shambolic presentation, it looks worse. So, but yeah, I really appreciate everyone's support throughout the series. And if you have liked this video, then please drop a like on there for me. And any comments you got about this one or the series as a whole, I'd love to see them too. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Obviously, there's quite a bit of content now in the FM20 back catalogue, and as we move into FM21, a lot more good content to come, I hope. It just remains for me to thank you for watching, thanks for your support on the channel as a whole, and we will see you soon for some more action. Bye for now.